Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is February 19th, 2024. We'll call this meeting in order at 7:32 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Dalzell is absent. Trustee Juarez-Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin? Here. Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Nava-Esparza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'm glad we have a quorum this evening, too. Dave, apparently all the cool kids are on this side of the room. You know? So we'll start off with our officers' reports, starting with mine. We're going to announce at an upcoming date, but we are putting together a village-wide cleanup day as we do every year. We're going to have that early May. I'll get some details out to everybody as soon as we have a date.
The sign on the door says May 11th.
11th, thank you. I know I got one on my desk, but okay, so May 11th, we're going to have a village-wide cleanup day. Certainly, if you would like to join us, we welcome the help. And for many people, certain organizations, they need to do like community service hours, and it's a great way to do it. It's from 9 until noon on a Saturday, and I usually take the pleasure of cleaning the Cicero Avenue Bridge every year. And
It's been pretty profitable for you in recent years, hasn't it, Mayor?
No, it hasn't. That was over. That was
cemetery.
That was by the cemetery.
Oh, I
years ago.
stand corrected. Why don't you tell that story for the students in the room, because they may want to earn extra credit
I'm telling you.
for their classes, and they could actually make a few bucks doing it.
As my dad always said, money doesn't fall up, so you got to look at the ground. I can't think. And the first thing I did, I walked up and I was out there with, it might have been the electricians. We were right here by Borough Oak Cemetery on Cicero Avenue, right where you come off the ramp on Cicero. I walked up my garbage bag, looked down, there's a $20 bill laying there. I'm like, winner, you know? So it's like, I still leave that in my car, too. It's all full of mud, but, you know, it's like just in case, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, please join us if you're available. So the first thing on the agenda this evening, under my report, was the Village of Alsip met with the engineers from IDOT, and they informed the village of their need to re-strengthen the 127th Street Bridge where it meets Route 83. This will require closing the bridge on March 4th, 2024, and reopening approximately December 1st of 2024. So this is almost a 9-month closure of that bridge. So they can work on the top side, from the top side rather, and from the underneath from a barge. All village departments have been informed and are coordinating with surrounding communities. Not good news, but certainly we need to report. Second on your agenda was the approval to provide a 50% of the incremental revenues for 2 tax years for the Firewater Barbecue and Brew at 11650 South Pulaski, with any amounts paid toward we gave them a $250,000 limit on their redevelopment agreement. That's what RDA stands for. So in other words, we made a deal with the development, with the restaurant when it was built, to give them a tax break. And because Cook County is so far behind schedule with hearing these cases, he can't take advantage of these tax breaks right now. So we're basically extending this for him by letting him pay 50% of these values for 2 tax years and stuff yet too. So we're still making good on our agreement with him, but he can't take advantage of the discount for right now, that's all. So it's a fair way of doing business. And our attorney, Joe Kankar, has been negotiating this with the Firewater attorney. And that's all I had this evening on my report. We'll go to the clerk's report. Clerk Harding.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the approval of the February 5th, 2024 board meeting minutes, approval of the January 2024 FOIA report, presentation and approval of the January 2024 IDOT motor fuel allotment in the amount of $63,547.79, and the presentation and approval of February 12th, 2024 committee meeting minutes. And that is all I had, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the attorney's report. We have Mike Kankar with us. Mike?
No report, sir.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to our engineers report. Jeff Agan. Jeff?
Thank you, Mayor. The 116th place, 117th place water main replacement project, just a reminder that bid opening scheduled for next Monday, February 26th at the committee meeting. Cautionary Avenue resurfacing, 123rd Street to 127th place. The contractor, Iroquois Paving, has indicated that right now they have a tentative start date for that of March 25th. That's obviously, weather permitting as well, but that's kind of what they have targeted for that. Then just note, Mike and I tomorrow will be driving streets, looking at roadways for we can include in the next year's roadway resurfacing program and start looking at budgets and things of that sort. So.
That's going to be a task as always, Jeff. How do you feel about, we just did all that water main replacement down 115th place and so forth. Is that one of the streets you think you're going to target? Yeah.
Yep. Mike
Okay.
mentioned that, yep.
We really beat the heck out of that street, as far as that goes. And I was going down one today. There's a couple. Mike and I talked about maybe 120th Street between Pulaski and Keeler. That needs a little bit of help and stuff yet, too. And I was going down one today, down Holman Street. I don't know if we have enough left over, but Holman, between like 123rd and 127th, needs a little bit of help, too. So.
That's all I had.
Of course, I know that we YouTube all these, so we're going to get a handful of phone calls. Some streets I might have missed that too, but we'll do our best. Thank you. Next, we have the public forum. On the public forum this evening here too. Well, first off, did anyone wish to speak to the board about any concerns? Then I do have it listed on here that we're going to have a public hearing on the annexation of property located at 5025 West 111th Street. This currently is the Citgo gas station that sits on that property, and it was determined that that particular parcel was never annexed into the village of Alsip, so we are annexing that into the village of Alsip, so it'll actually be considered an Alsip, right now it's unincorporated, but this will be now considered an Alsip business on that street. Anyone wish to speak to that? Sir, please. Yeah. Can you go up to the microphone, please, sir? We actually record all of our meetings.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what's going on with this property. I'm the owner of that property. So it goes back.
Harry, right?
Yep. That's
Harry,
me.
that's right. You and I met years ago, Harry. Harry Singh, correct?
You got it.
Thank you, Harry. I'm pretty good at names all the time.
Pretty good name.
Harry, the reason we were doing it is, your property, and I've looked at the tax bills and everything else. Right now, I'm working with our attorneys, and we have a village-wide map that we look at all parcels of land on. And we were looking at some other land, like nearby you, because we've got some developments that are going in. And it was brought to our attention that your gas station was never incorporated in the village of Alsip. It's unincorporated. So you're paying taxes to, like, the schools, and you pay them to, like, the park districts and so forth like that, and everybody else. The village wasn't part of that. And it's not necessarily a money grab or anything like that, but we do provide police and fire and all that kind of stuff, and we're not being compensated for any of it. So unfortunately for you, obviously, as a business owner, it's going to be a little more money toward that effort, though, too, but certainly for all the right reasons, though, too, is all your other businesses all the way around it, you have to do the same thing as far as supporting the village effort for the services we provide to your establishment and stuff then, too. But, yeah, you were never on the books.
And as I technically, with that being on the books, it wouldn't be also police's responsibility to respond. We'd have, potentially, if there was an incident, wait for county.
Well,
technically being unincorporated.
Right.
And, other things, licenses and
Exactly.
such.
So we've provided business license and everything else that take place at your place. I know you've even got, through the state, you've got gaming, we've given liquor licenses on it.
Right.
But this is what happens when we have like an assumption that somebody's good, and without this audit we're doing right now of properties, we would have never seen this and stuff then too. So I'm sorry to impose more on you financially and stuff then too, but at the same time, the village is certainly entitled to bring this to the taxpayers' attention and stuff then, too. That's why we're doing it.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So, yeah, you didn't know that, apparently. You didn't
No,
know
I
that?
didn't know that. I just got a letter last week, you know. I'm like, what's going on? I asked Mike, you know. I'm like, well, Mike, you know anything? He said, no, I don't know anything.
Yeah, and you know,
That's why I'm here.
and when something is not annexed, and Attorney Kankar can maybe say it as well, too, anybody could have grabbed that. You could have had Oak Lawn trying to grab, you could have had a lot of people trying to annex property like that, yeah, too.
Yeah, Oak Lawn could have incorporated it, Oak Lawn or Alsip,
Right.
either one.
Okay.
So because it's on our side of the street, we certainly feel, and we've been servicing the needs of the store there for whenever. How long you had that store, Harry?
Since of 2013.
2013?
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Years.
yeah, just one day, you know, I mean, really take a good look at your tax bill, and you'll see the village isn't even listed on there. You'll see the schools and the parks and everybody else, but you won't see the village on your tax bill,
Okay.
okay? So that's why this is being annexed in now,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Singh, would you mind signing in for us?
Just to say we spoke with you, Harry. Thank you. We'll go on with our standing committee reports. We'll start with Finance and IT. Trustee McGlowan.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated February 9th, 2024, totaling $466,796.61. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated February 19th, 2024. From the recap, General Fund, $81,210.46. Road and Bridge, $290 even. Liability and workers' comp insurance, $149,149. Health insurance, $318,316.45. Water and sewer, $44,602.33. Heritage complexes, $32,758.14. Retiree health insurance, $863.22, for a grand total all funds of $627,189.60. And finally, I have a request for approval of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2023-12-1, which was an ordinance levying taxes for general corporate purposes for the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2023, and ending April 30th of 2024 for the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois. And that's all I have this evening under Finance, Mayor.
And for the students in the room, too, just to understand what Trustee was saying, we talked about this last week in committee. Unfortunately, when we approved our tax levy, these are the monies that make up the difference for our budgets at the end of the year. When we did that in December, we had a typo in there that the number looked accurate, but when you actually broke everything out, we were, as opposed to approving a 4.9% tax levy, we actually were at like 8%. We were at 8.17. So what we're doing tonight is by amending, we're changing that number to reflect a true 4.9. So that's basically, it was a typo we're fixing in here, so that's all that means. Next, we have the Fire Committee report. Trustee Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion to approve the 2 educational coordinators to attend the Illinois Fire Inspectors Association Annual Conference in East Peoria, Illinois, from March 20th through the 22nd at a cost of approximately $1,500. This conference has been budgeted for. Next, I have the presentation and approval of the December 2023 Fire Prevention Bureau Monthly Activity Report. And that's all I have, Mayor.
For the record, too, Trustee, I was just looking at the way it was written. You are not making a motion to approve. That's just the way it was submitted for this particular line item, correct, rather?
That's correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Next, we have the Police and Traffic Safety Committee.
No agenda this evening, Mayor.
Okay, no report. Next, we have the Public Work and Boat Launch Committee.
I have the approval to advertise and fill a vacant position for a full-time Class 2 operator in the Public Works Department. And that's all I have, sir.
Very good. Mike Fredericks here. Mike, did the one gentleman, did he take the job? Start tomorrow? Good. So we got one position left, and I believe we have one in water too, right? Okay. So we're looking for 2 people to work in public work. One for public work, one for water department. And board, just so you know, too, Trustee McLaurin should said something under finance. We're really working hard to try and get a new staff accountant, and I'm trying to find, we're already in 2 or 3 publications. Finance director hasn't been satisfied with the applications that we're getting, so we're trying, we're still searching, let's put it that way.
Have we considered try going through a recruiter? I know there's fees associated with recruiters, but we're paying huge fees to
There are.
gov temps.
There
so-
are, and actually, it's funny you bring that up, because I just got one on Friday, where, yes, I did have a recruiter call, send me a note, that it was about a $17,000 fee
Wow.
for that recruiting effort. So,
Yeah, I say it's always a percentage of the salary provided. I mean, but typically you don't pay that fee unless the employee actually sticks.
exactly.
So-
So, our finance director, Maria Alesichuk, is reviewing that right now. We just got that on Friday, but thanks for reminding me, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And it was from a notable organization, too. I don't want to use their name publicly, but it was a good organization.
Yeah, no, in fact, I had one emailed to me, I think it was late last week, that I seriously thought about sending it over to Maria.
Yeah.
But I thought it was better to discuss the option
No, send it over
first
just in
and-
case, because we're trying everything right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to our sewer and water report committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a request for approval of the Water Department January 2024 monthly activity report, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Building and Health, trustee Peretta.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Human Resource and Insurance, trustee Murphy.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Special committee reports, we'll start with Economic Development Committee.
First, we have DA's Corned Beef Deli has announced its opening day will be February 29th, 24 at 4001 West 127th Street. It's at the former Dunkin' Donuts location. And I got to say, it's just in time for St. Patrick's Day, so I'm looking forward to it.
This guy,
I heard they're noted for their 1-pounder.
yep.
Yeah.
This guy puts a sandwich out like Manny's does downtown. Yeah.
You could eat a pound of corned beef.
Yep. It's a,
And that's all I
Besides
have,
me.
Mayor.
yep. Next, thank you. Next, we'll go to Village Properties, trustee McLaurin.
Thank you, Mayor. The only item I have on the agenda is a request for approval to go out to bid for a 2024 Ford F-350, but at this time, Mayor, I'd like to pull that, or table that on the agenda for further discussion.
That's fine. Roger, I shared the pictures with all the board tonight, just like a half an hour ago, not even, just to show them what kind of condition the truck is that we want to replace and stuff yet, too. So, yeah, we'll have more discussion on that and stuff yet, too. Rod, is that truck still running right now and everything, too?
Yeah, we're still utilizing it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, trustee, I just sent you pictures on that, and, yeah, she's in rough shape. I went over it today and took a good look at it and stuff.
But one of the main questions to go along with it is the actual need to replace it at all. I mean,
Yeah, let's do that in committee. Okay, thank you. Next, we have the ordinance and legislation, trustee Peretta.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip annexing the property located at 5025 West 111th Street pursuant to 65 ILCS 5/7-1-13 into the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to planning and zoning and licenses, committee.
thank you, Mayor. First, I have a request for approval of a list of licenses dated January 29th, 2024 through February 9th of 2024. And then next, I have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip authorizing the rezoning from P public land to I-2 industrial medium district for the property located at 5800 West 116th Street in Alsip, Illinois. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. And again, I always like to do this because we got a lot of students in the room. What the trustee is saying is that we've got property at 5800 West 116th Street that used to be designated public land. The organization that owned that sold that property. It's almost 3 acres, and there's a new development that's getting built there, so we have to rezone that to actually now have it recognized as an industrial property. That's what that means. Okay. This is actually right, if you guys know, if everybody knows where the ball hockey court's at on 115th and near Mayfield, it's right behind that. So, did anybody have any presentations, petitions, or communications they wanted to share? I had one on here this evening. The Village of Alsip's bicycle and pedestrian plan. Myself, and I'm participating in this with our trustee Navis Barza, she's not here this evening, with Ryan Peterson. He is with an organization called Epstein. He's our senior planner, and he submitted an 8-page draft communication and outreach strategy document recently. This will be a living document subject to change throughout the project and will be a guide for our engagement strategy and attendance at community events. Ryan says, please let him know if we have any comments or suggestions or edits. He also started working on the project website. He wants to keep it to one page with simplistic features yet informative. For now, he has just created an aesthetic. He added some basic info and added the option to subscribe to receive project updates. This is all for our use for right now. Eventually, we will add events, public comment features, and an interactive map function. Our next meeting is going to be March 7th, where we will work to finalize a steering committee, finalize the list of public events, and discuss our initial crash analysis findings. Again, what this means is that we applied with Jeff Agans' help, our engineer, and Mike Frater, our public works superintendent. We applied and we received a grant to do a study survey to find more sidewalks to be introduced in our communities, as well as bicycle paths. We live in a very dense, populated community, in a suburb here, and many of our main streets, like 115th Street, say from Pulaski all the way to Ridgeland, doesn't even have a sidewalk. And I want to see a sidewalk go into in areas like this. We need sidewalks replaced on the bridges. We need all over town. And some of our main streets just lack sidewalks and for reasonable transportation. So that's what the study is going to provide. But this, the organization is actually going to participate, and they want to get public feedback yet too in different events. Like the junior high has a, actually the Chamber of Commerce sponsors it, but they're going to have a business expo like in March. So they'll be at things like this. So getting public feedback and letting the public know what we're doing there too. So this grant covers the cost of all that. Anything else, Jeff, we can say about that too, or?
Yeah, no, I'm just looking for public input, to help craft the plan,
Okay.
The Kelsag trails come up and trying to get access over to that. And
That's a biggie too, is we want to see people be able to get at the Kelsag Trail. That trail runs 15 miles. It runs from Alsip right now all the way to Lamont, but it's going to be connecting from Alsip into Blue Island now too pretty soon. And like we were just saying, when our road reconstruction on 131st between Kedzie and Pulaski, that's going to incorporate the bike path on that as well too, right, Mike? Or Jeff, Mike, is that going to have lights and all that kind of stuff then too? Yeah, nice. Okay.
Bike path or bike lane? Is it bike path or bike lane?
Bike lane.
Okay.
So it's going to be on the street, but designated as a lane. Okay, yeah, we got to look at that, make sure it's safe, because that's a state truck route, so we got to make sure it's going to be safe. Okay. Did anybody want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
Letter I,
Okay.
and then I already mentioned letter K.
All right, can I get anybody else? Can I get a motion then to establish the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call number 1 to establish consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell is absent. Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas Barza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes,
Motion carries to establish consent agenda.
thank you. Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Item H, approval of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2023-12-1, an ordinance levying taxes for general corporate purposes for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2023 and ending April 30th, 2024 for the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, will now be known as ordinance 2024-02-3. Item L, an approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip annexing the property located at 5025 West 111th Street pursuant to 65 ILCS 5/7-1-13 into the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, will now be known as ordinance 2024-02-4. And item N, approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip authorizing the rezoning from P Public Land District to I-2 Industrial Medium District for the property located at 5800 West 116th Street, Alsip, Illinois, will now be known as ordinance 2024-02-5. Roll call number 2 to approve consent agenda.
Excuse me, 1 second. And again, I just want to clarify, Trustee McLaurin pulled letter K.
Yeah, I already wrote that down.
Got
She
that,
did it
gotcha.
earlier.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Roll call number 2 to approve consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell is absent. Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas Garza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes,
Motion carries to approve consent agenda.
thank you. We're going to go back, we had one item removed. This is letter I. This reads to say that it was a motion to approve the 2 public education coordinators to attend the Illinois Fire Inspectors Association's annual conference in East Peoria, Illinois, from March 20th through the 22nd at a cost of approximately $1,500. This conference has been budgeted for. This is through the fire department. First off, before I take any questions, did anyone wish to make that motion the way it's written? Nobody? Then, Trustee McLaurin, did you have a question on this?
No, I just pulled it for a separate vote.
Okay. Well, then it died for lack of a motion, so we will take no action on letter I this evening. Let's see, what else? Anybody have any unfinished business? Any new business? You know, before we go, I just want to share with you real quick. I must have got tied up. Last week I talked to the mayor of Robbins, and he wanted me to express, he was going to try and get her this evening, but he wanted to express his thanks to the village board. We gave consensus last week on committee to help the village of Robbins with a water issue that they're having right now. Again, for the record, the water department is being confronted with a request from Cook County Emergency Management to assist a disaster need at 119th and Maple Street, where Blue Island meets Marina Park, but the disaster belongs to Robbins, as their water main burst at that location under a set of railroad tracks. The Village of Robbins has requested assistance from Cook County, who is now being tasked with engineering costs for the repairs, but Cook County hired Cal City Plumbing to fix the break, as well as he wants to establish a tap-in from the Alsip water to Robbins. Robbins purchases their water supply directly from Chicago. Myself, I visited the site last week, and Chicago is visibly losing a lot of water and revenues due to the amount of water loss at that location right now. The cost of repairs is approximately $250,000, and the water is now being pumped into a nearby cemetery. What's not getting through the line is, in other words, is getting pumped into a cemetery, and further to a storm sewer near Kedzie Avenue. Cook County has requested the Village of Alsip assist the need to provide water to Robbins while this 4-day repair takes place. Alsip Water Commissioner Dan Triben evaluated the system and scenario and found that Alsip Water has water mains that run parallel to Robbins over in Kedzie Avenue in front of the Fountain Hills Golf Course. The lines are approximately 10 feet apart from each other, so we're going to tap in, put a gate in there so we can open it and close it. Commissioner Triben confirmed Robbins uses about 1 million gallons of water per day. The Village of Alsip will invoice the Village of Robbins approximately $8 well, it will be $8.40 per 1,000 gallons used. This will be approximately $36,000 to $40,000 for 4 days of water supply. Our attorney, Joe Kankar, is working on an intergovernmental agreement that will provide to the Village of Robbins. And again, Board Mayor Darren Bryant wished to express his thanks for the support that the board offered last week. And Dan Travin told me that Cook County is still working with their engineering firm to finalize all the work that's going to take place. So we're going to hear from us any day now, and all this is going to hit and stuff then too. So anyway, that's all I had. So did I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll adjourn this meeting. Time now is 8:03 p.m. Please enjoy the rest of your night.